Welcome, everyone. My name is Anna Abramova, and I am joined today by Ajay Singh, SqlDBM CTO, who has a few things to show and tell today. It's been quite the journey. To be honest, we've already rolled this out to a few of our select customers who we've been in communication with, and it's been amazing to hear their first feedback. And now, today, we are ready to bring SqlDBM's AI Copilot to a wider audience. So what's coming in today's session? First and foremost, the session is recorded. We will share slides. There is a Q&A session at the end. We'll leave a few minutes to answer some of the most burning questions. There's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen where you can submit questions. I will be the first one to see them, and I'll handpick the questions, and we'll make sure Ajay can shed some light. There's a chat, but I believe in the chat, the way the system is set up, you can only message us. There's no group chat. There's quite a lot of people, so we try to tame the chaos a little bit. So what's happening today? We'll talk about what AI Copilot includes, what's available today. Perhaps we'll shed some light on what's coming soon. Ajay can share a little bit of the vision behind the product. We'll talk about who this is built for, the end audience, and we will not spend too much time talking as much as we will be showing a live demo. So it's going to be fast-paced, informative, and hopefully a lot of fun. I'm personally excited because this question of AI capabilities in SqlDBM has been brought up a lot among customers and overall audience in the industry. We've taken time, and I'm excited to kind of show what the product team has been working on. So Ajay, without further ado, please let's go ahead and get us started.
All right. Thank you so much, Anna, for this nice introduction and setting the
wait,
stage.
Ajay, I cannot hear you.
All right, sorry. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
All good now.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you, Anna, so much for this nice introduction and setting up the stage. Okay, let me just change the screen here. Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled to introduce you something that is going to change the way you collaborate around data using our new SqlDBM AI Copilot. Whether you are a leading strategy, designing architecture, writing pipelines, or ensuring governance, this Copilot is built to amplify your impact. It is an intelligent embedded directly. It is an intelligent assistant. Sorry. It is an intelligent assistant embedded directly into your modeling workflow, designed to help you query, document, validate, and communicate with your model. So I would say think of it as an always-on partner, which helps you for data modeling, governance, collaboration, but most importantly, that understands your context and speaks your language. So that's what I want to present it today, and I'm super excited. So the bigger question is, who's going to use this Copilot? Who's going to benefit from this Copilot? I would say anybody that touches data or need to interact with data or uses SqlDBM can benefit a lot from this SqlDBM Copilot. Whether you are a data engineer doing day-to-day changes on your models and bringing new dimensions, facts, or creating new hub satellite links, you can utilize it. Whether you are from management, you are VP of data or senior data architect or head of data, you can utilize to understand the holistic view of your data model. If there are any discrepancies or anomalies that you want to bubble up and see and create those tasks to improve your model, you can see that. If you belong to a data governance team, making sure the governance is built in, all the documentation is in place, your data is properly categorized, you can definitely use this Copilot. If you belong to the business analyst team, creating the reporting architecture or creating complicated views, Copilot can really help you. So before any further delay, I actually want to dive into the live demo and show you how it can help you and use less words. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Okay. Super excited. Okay. So before I begin creating a project, I want to just talk about what is our normal process whenever we need to create a new data model. We all know going from requirements to data model is not complex, but it is time consuming. It demands cognitive load to keep track of all the details. What I mean is before any model is created, I have to have understanding of the whole requirements, which means I might need to go through iterations of those requirements, meet many different parties or people, understand, have those meetings, essentially create a mind map before I can go to any designing screen, just like SqlDBM to design your model. Once you have those mind map ready, you go to a building designing solution like SqlDBM, and then you have to deliberately create every object and every attribute one by one, which could be very painstaking and time consuming. And what if there is a way to automate that and allow me focus on other complicated stuff? Let me show you how we can automate all of that using AI Copilot. So I'm going to click on Create Project, which basically allows me go to the tool and it will ask me what type of project you want to create. And for this demonstration, I'm going to use Snowflake. I'm going to use existing database, but actually it's going to be existing requirements. If you notice, there is a little Copilot icon available here, which tells me that you can actually bring your own requirements. So this might be a new button that you might not have seen ever. This is a reverse engineering screen, by the way, where you can bring your existing model, you can connect your data warehouse or SQL and then create a model. This screen also is going to help you if you want to get your requirements injected and create a model out of that. So here, this button, generate with AI, once you click there, it's going to ask you what kind of requirements you have. So in this particular example, this demonstration, I have actually created some requirements, which I'm going to talk about here. So I have created this hypothetical gym data warehouse requirements, and I'm gonna take all these requirements, which actually has only the pseudocode of my entities that I need to make this operational tables, operational schema. I'm gonna inject that and ask AI to work on that. So this Copilot is actually gonna scan through all my requirements line by line, understand each of them, and then it's gonna create the data which is gonna be consumable in SqlDBM format that can create your output as a data model. So let's see what it can use. So I gave it all these requirements, which has these objects. So this AI call can take around 20 to 30 seconds generally to start responding. And that's how it brings those requirements. So give it a minute. But the beauty here is the work that you generally take hours to do, it can take only a couple of minutes to do that and respond. So here. So we just got all these 21 new set of tables created just from bare requirements. I did not need to design anything or give anything. So I'm gonna import, and here on my designing screen, I got all of these objects, right click and star auto layout for better looking. So that's how I generated my model. And if you notice, it provided me all those data types and nullable and other attributes that I would need for this model without even specifying. And just to make it a little nicer, I'm just going to go to this database schema that we just newly created and give it a nicer color, maybe red, and also give a name to my project here.
And I love how Ajay, pretty much what it's doing is allowing us to design tables real fast from just natural language, which is the primary ask that we've had from the audience. This speeds up. Like, how many tables you just created? To more than 20, you said, right?
Yeah, more than 20. Yeah. So that's how I just took my requirements and created right from scratch all these 20 tables which are connected with each other, which has all those attributes. But next thing, generally, the changes are the model is always changing. What I meant to say is the requirements never end. So let's say if I'm a data engineer and I get new set of requirements to add on my existing model, and I have to create, let's assume I have to create dimensions and fact tables around my analytical design from these core tables, operational tables, so I can follow the same process. I will go to the reverse engineering screen, click on Generate AI, and get my second set of requirements, which are basically right here. And these are all my dimensions and fact tables. So I'm going to paste it here and say, AI, do your job. And if you notice in my requirements, I'll show you here, I'm just providing the names of my tables, no more details, no attributes, no data types, no connections, nothing, just the name of the table. If you have the right naming convention or right names of your tables, AI is smart enough to find all the details because it knows your existing context. That's the beauty. It knows your whole model and you are giving the new set of requirements. So it's going to compare and spit out the changes that you need. So in this particular example that I did, it added these 17 new facts and dimensions from just bare names of those tables. So I'm just going to again take them into my screen, import them. Let's see. Oh, here we got these new set of tables, and I'm gonna do star auto layout for better looking. Here you go. So if you notice, these all tables are created just from the name dim membership or fact check-in. That's it. And it created all these connections, and I'm just gonna give it a nicer color again. Uh, this schema, Gym Analytics, I'll give it a maybe yellow color. Okay, perfect. So I created this whole model where I have core operational tables. I'm gonna save it. I have core operational tables. I also have my analytical tables for dimensions and facts with all the changes that I wanted. Now, the obvious next thing is, we once the model is created, the base model is created, we want to share with other teams, maybe the BI team. And those engineers, BI engineers, need to create the reporting architecture. They need to create views. And we know views are most straightforward things to do, to create, but very time consuming. Again, very time consuming. Writing a view would require understanding of the requirements, understanding of your whole data model before they can write any view. So that's one piece, understanding the whole context, understanding the requirements. And the second piece is half of the time is spent towards writing the complicated, lengthy SQLs. What if I tell you that AI can do these all accurate joins and complicated clauses with the right instructions? I'll show you how you can do that. If you go to this reverse engineering screen again, generate with AI, and I'm gonna bring the third set of my requirements, which are these views. I'm just gonna copy that and paste them here. Upload. Here again, I want to emphasize on one thing. I'm just providing the name of the view. For example, VW underscore active memberships. That's pretty much it. I'm not telling it which tables to join, which columns as output, what are the where clauses, what are the group statements, nothing, just the bare names of my views that I want. So let's see what AI can do here. So I provided all these details. Now it is thinking, and it provided me all these complicated and complex SQLs, which are right here. I got these 11 views, and I'm gonna bring them again on the diagram so I can import them, inject it, and show you. Here are all my views. So let me just move these views a little bit up. Oops. Here are my views, and I can click on any of them. Let's say this one, active membership. If I double click, I'll see all the SQL that it has been generated for this view. So that's how it can generate your views super quickly. Of course, like in any AI task, whether you use within SqlDBM or outside, I always suggest that make sure that we eyeball it and revise what it did just to make sure this is what exact requirements were. Or if you need to make fine tuning or changes, you could do that. All right, we got all these views. I'm gonna go to the Database Explorer again, and we got this new schema, Gym reporting, which I'm gonna mark it as a green color so we can easily identify what are my reporting structure, what is my core analytical, core operational tables, and my analytical tables are also there. All right, we created this nice big model. Obviously, the next thing, if you want to further share it across other team members, the most important thing that we always need to do, which I personally not big fan of, is documentation. If we have the right definitions of all of those attributes and tables and views, Only then somebody else who is from a different team can understand what we are trying to do, what everything means. So now this Copilot can actually do all those things also for us. I'll show you how. So let's say if I go to this table, I have this metadata option, and here I can either go by column and ask AI to generate description by this hovering here, or I can do this bulk generate my documentation and say add missing description. It's going to think about this particular object and also consider all the connected. And based on that, it's going to create all this documentation for me. Again, I would say AI does, or this Copilot does the first pass, and I have to do the rest, which is revising it, making sure this is all good as per my understanding or what I wanted it to generate.
But
So
it's
that's how we.
good. It already has a lot of context based on the tables and relationships that exist, right? So it's not just a generic description, right? It's a very specific description to this particular project that you created.
Yeah, yeah. It's not only thinking about this check-in ID, it already knows whether it's a foreign key somewhere else or it is used somewhere else. So it knows the surrounding context. And that's how it is about this project context. Based on that, it is generating the description. So it should be 90% accurate what you want to get it done, or even higher. And the same thing, if you know, you can go to this documentation tab, and that's the place where you can actually have all these list of your items that you can actually provide documentation right here as well. So the same thing, you can either add missing descriptions for on the object level, like I'm going to do it for this dimensional date, or I can do it for my whole schema if I want to do everything in bulk altogether for all those 21 tables under analytical or core. I can do in bulk as well. It solves it. It actually saves tons and tons of hours if you have to do it manually versus using the Copilot. All right, that was the documentation piece. But many times, what happens is that you either have a complicated view which you never saw, or you got a new table or new task, and you may be new in a team, and you want to understand what is this entity is doing, what is the purpose of this entity, or how can I understand, or what is the impact analysis. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, what if you need to dig deeper into any object, not the holistic, but only a single object? So what you can do is, if you see, if I hover on any object, there's a little Copilot icon appears on top. Let's say here, training programs. If I click on that, now I don't need to specify work on this object. I'm talking directly to this object through my Copilot, and I can ask it any questions. Or if I want to make precise modifications to this particular object, let's say if I want to say, hey, create the related data vault tables for it, like hub satellite links, it can do that. Or if I want to say, create a child table, it can do that. Or if I want to obtain any information, for example, explain me this object or give me the impact analysis. So these buttons are readily available. So I don't need to type, I can just click and it knows what's the context object we are talking about. And based on that, it's going to provide me details about this training programs object and give me all those details about it, like what's the business purpose, how's the table is structured, what are different columns and everything, all the connected entities, what is the analytical view, what are other views that are utilizing this table. So it can give me everything about that. It's also super helpful when you have really, really complicated or lengthy views that you don't want to understand or dig deeper yourself and understand each and every SQL statement and joins to try to find out things, what it is, what's the basic purpose of that view. You can go to the view and ask, for example, I'm just going to show you, let's say this particular view discount effectiveness. And we can see it has like this big SQL, but the SQLs could be big, like hundreds or thousands lines of code, complicated to understand, which is a lot of technical stuff there. But instead, you can just go to this Copilot and say, hey, explain me this object. What is this view doing? How it is connected? What are the different entities that it is utilizing? What's the purpose of this view? So it can solve you those dig down problems on any object level. Okay, that was good. Yes, it is still responding. Amazing. Very good. Love it. Uh, Now we have created pretty sizable model here, right? We got all different entities. And now what if I want to do audit at scale? For example, if I'm a data architect or I'm head of data, I want to know what is the summarize me this whole project or whole model, or give me the anomalies or or I want to make sure it is compliant with the standards that we want to follow. So for those purposes, if you want to audit at scale, we have this big Copilot icon available at bottom right. If you click on that, this is helpful if you want to get any holistic view of your model and understanding of your model, or want to dig on a holistic level. For example, I can ask questions like, give me the tables which does not have primary keys, or find all the elements that have PII information and mark them with a red flag. So it can scan through your whole model and identify all the elements that have a personal information and mark them as red. It can make those actions as well in bulk. Or I can say, summarize this model. So it will go through, scan through whole model, find each entity and find how they are connected with each other, what is the purpose of different things, and it can create a nice documentation for that, which you can save and share. If any new team member joins, they can go through it and understand like how many tables are there, how many facts or dimensions are there, what is the operational layer, dimensional layer. So you can see here, it is already giving me this architecture view, database model summary, which is trying to tell me that it is a gym management system and it has this based in Snowflake. So it gives me all those details. So that's that's very, very helpful where you want to understand on a holistic view what are the things that you want to do, or you want to make any kind of bulk changes. So far, whatever I have done is super generic. Is very generic way of getting those requirements and creating those models. But we all know that everyone's demand wherever they are working is very specific to your particular industry or organization, or even in your country or your language, because SqlDBM is used in all across the globe with different clients all across different countries with different languages. We have French-speaking clients, or from Spain, Spanish-speaking clients who want to interact with the model in their own languages, or you want to have certain standards that you want to follow before every call that you make to AI. For all those fine tunings in your Copilot, we have this Copilot settings. So you see this gear icon. If I click on that, it's going to take me to this Copilot settings. Here, I have a global instructions placeholder. For example, there is something here. You can say this is a financial institution using data vault modeling or dimensional modeling and managing my analytical data model. Or if, like I gave you an example, you belong to a certain country and you want to document or you want to interact with the Copilot in your own language. And I can say something here like respond only in Spanish. I'm going to save my settings, cross this, and refresh this. And now let's say if I want to say, hey, summarize my model. So it already knows for every AI call, it's going to have this pre-context that it has to respond in Spanish. And you can see right here, it is already doing that. Everything, it looks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but it definitely looks, it's responding in Spanish language. And this is the one. And every call, whether you are on the reverse engineering screen or you are at the documentation. Let's say if I go at the metadata and I want to say document this object or provide me definitions, it should already know that it needs to respond in Spanish. And here we go. That's how it can behave. Further, you can more customize your Copilot. For example, there are project level settings or object level settings. if you remember, there are pre-prompt buttons available as a shortcuts. So these are the shortcuts that we have given as the default, like suggest improvements or summarize model, or on the object level, we have explained this object or give me impact analysis. You can always customize it and create your own objects here and give descriptions what you use more often. So that's how you can fine tune your Copilot settings.
I love that we're taking in the customization aspect right from the beginning, so everyone can have their own kind of version of Copilot in a way.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, Anna. This is actually a feedback which came back from one of our very amazing clients, and we gave them an initial look and feel of what we are doing, and they told us like, "Hey, this is very generic, but I have my own customization." And then we thought, "Oh wow, this is something everybody would need." So I request everybody who is a listener or user of SqlDBM, and trust me, this ship of SqlDBM, we navigate based on the feedback that we receive from all across our clients. So thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll make sure to collect more even after this session. I'm already looking at the questions, and some of this would be an interesting discussion.
I'm actually pretty much done with the most important things that I wanted to show, the use cases, and I want to listen to the questions if you have any.
All right, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's start because this will take us a moment, and I know we then wanted to kind of summarize and cover next steps. So first and foremost, actually, I might be able to share that now as well. For next steps and who has this available, when will this be available? We are slowly entering stages that are closer to public availability, and please just go to sqldbm.com/copilot and submit your request so that the right team will get in touch with you and help you with the next steps there. So we won't cover any access questions. Just right now we're just collecting who would be interested in having this available, and then our team can help you. Your customer success manager, account manager, they'll get in touch. So just go to sqldbm.com/copilot. I dropped the link in the chat. Just submit a request and we'll make sure to take care of it. Now to the questions. Ajay, this question was asked twice in the chat right now about which LLM is running in the background, and overall, how is SqlDBM handling security and data privacy? So maybe you can shed some light on that.
Very good question. And I'm sure whoever asked, it might be on top of every listener here, like how I make sure my Copilot calls are secure and what models it is using behind the scenes. So everything that I showed you today, it was done through secure encrypted API calls. And we use Anthropic's Claude models behind the scenes. We do not host any model. We do not train any models internally. We do not share the context among different projects or users or clients. Every API call is super independent, is absolutely independent. And I also want to emphasize that to get here, we had to do multiple iterations of making sure that we are secure and we are also cost optimized. So how we achieved that? So we actually do not share the project data with AI. We only share how the project is stored, which is pretty consistent all across SqlDBM projects because it's the way we store the data, which is in the JSON format. Like, for example, there are sections for diagrams or subject areas or objects. So this is how the metadata of the project data that we share with AI. For example, if user prompts any query, if whatever user prompts, like give me tables of which does not have primary key. We only share the structure of the data. Now AI responds with a query to run against the project data. We get that query and then we run it locally against the project data, which gives us the result back to show it to the client. So that means few benefits right off the bat. We do not share project data. We do not we do not dump AI with the huge database or lot of data because AI has tendency to hallucinate if you give it a lot of data. Number three, because the queries require the API calls or the AI calls require minimal set of data. They are very small, minimum, and that's where it is very cost optimized. So we have taken care of all of those things from the get-go. And if you are aware of Snowflake's Cortex AI, we understood they are working on the very same pattern. For example, you have to create your semantic layer and you only share the semantic layer, but not the data. And now Cortex AI, based on every prompt, it generates a query based on the semantic layer, generates a query that you can run against your data locally in Snowflake to obtain your results. So it's very same pattern that we follow here to make it secure and cost optimized.
Yeah, and overall, I love how we're handling things like context limitation and hallucinations, and make sure that those are tamed. Pretty fantastic solutions there. Ajay, a question to what you were showing in the very beginning on the RE side, right, when we reverse engineer from the prompt. Does Copilot compare requirements with existing tables to avoid, so if you're reverse engineering on top, to avoid duplication and suggest ways in which integrity can be maintained?
Yeah, definitely. That's the beauty of this reverse engineering on top, using this Copilot with the new set of requirements, because it is context aware. It knows your existing state of your project, your all the data, and based on your new requirements, it compares and thinks what are the changes I need to make on the existing tables, or do I need to create new tables or new views? And that's where it spits out the data that can be enhanced or improved in your existing model. It does consider that.
Yeah, and this is kind of a similar question. What if you have an existing model with existing tables, and now you want to add a new table and form a new model? How can you create a prompt to do that?
So if you want to create a new model, either you can go to create a brand new project and go their new model. If you want to create multiple models under the same project, like I created here, this is my analytical model where I have dimensions and facts. This is my model where I have all the core operational tables. So this is the exact example that I showed you, and you can have it under different, for example, I'll just start auto layout here. This is my model or a diagram which shows me my core operational tables. This is my analytical, and this could be my reporting views. So that's how I created different models within the same project. Yeah. So it has multiple diagrams or subject areas to section your different models.
Yeah, and I like the fact of how the standard SqlDBM functionality is still there, right? So we're using everything that's already kind of embedded into the way to structure and organize your projects, and then just the Copilot on top of it. So when you marry the two, there's a lot of flexibility that's available.
Yeah.
For impact analysis,
Mhm.
is impact analysis limited to what is within the project, or can it look at other projects?
Good question. So currently, this AI functionality is only in the scope is only this project. The context awareness is only this project. But the question is really good, which we solved earlier, that you can actually have the global objects. If you want to connect different projects with each other, you can bring objects from other project into this project. In that case, they become uh, uh, they participate in this model as well. So AI or would have this context of those extra objects from other projects, and that's how you can make it more context aware, and it would respond you the impact analysis based on that. So, for example, if I have a view here, but it is utilizing tables from other projects, I can bring those tables here in my global objects, which will make my AI context aware of those global objects as well, and it will give me the impact analysis within this project. I hope that answers the
Yeah,
question.
and yeah, that definitely understands.
It comes under our global modeling feature, basically.
Yeah, I can maybe share some links to global modeling as well. While I do that, next question: can we feed data in different format? I have JSON and want to reverse engineer.
Perfect. Yes, you can. And that's where we have built, when you go to generate with AI, you have this attachments upload from your computer. So this is very helpful because you might receive data. Actually, with one of our clients that I was talking to, they get the data in the JSON format from a different department. So now that JSON is in a different structure, of course. And if you feed that here, it will automatically understand, and it has the context aware. It will create the data that can be consumed with SqlDBM and design your model based on your JSON. Not only limited to JSON, you can have Word documents, you can have Excels or CSVs, or even many times we do some kind of a napkin drawing, like Draw.io or on Paint or somewhere wherever you have PNGs, you can upload that and it will create a model out of that.
That is one of my favorite shortcuts now. Because there were so many questions of people just having some sort of a model or part of the model in a PNG file or in a drawing, and they wanted a quick way to just move it to SqlDBM. Now you can do it in a matter of seconds. Ooh, I love that one. Um, Ajay, can you import external schemas and ask AI to create mapping between our core model to the target schemas?
Create a mapping between the core model and target schema. I think that is one of the maybe I we haven't run through that use case, but I believe with this Copilot, because what I presented you today is only few of the use cases that I thought of or our team thought of. But I bet you there are many other use cases that you can implement within this Copilot. And I believe yes, the answer is yes, that it can map those schemas together. For example, if there is no mapping between these operational tables and my analytical tables, you can create those mappings among them using the Copilot. The the basic answer is, let's say if I have to build this AI robotic hand and I build all these five fingers. Now what I can do with this hand, I can catch a ball, I can write, I can punch, I can do many things. We have provided this functionality that you can now combine them and utilize. So similarly in this Copilot, it is context aware. It knows how to create new tables, new views, new relationships, new documentations. So you can utilize that to create those mappings as well.
That Yeah, that was a great analogy. Yeah, it's all about the keep, like we're here, as I always say, we're best at building product and providing that as a capability and functionality. The way the product is used actually differs from customer to customer. And with AI, it's only going to be 2x of the same, right? So it'll be interesting to kind of keep diving into the use cases. Um, Instead of star schema, can SqlDBM generate data vault structure?
Uh, yes, it can. Again, because it depends on how you write your prompt to the Copilot that I want to create a data vault structure. Like I asked it to create my dimensional tables or fact tables. But if I go here and say, hey, can you create to this Copilot, can you create my data vault tables? It knows this context and it knows what is a data vault table, which includes hub, satellite, and link. It will create all those corresponding tables, knowing the context about this object. Yes, it can.
Yeah, yeah. Again, another amazing shortcut. Here's a question that's a little bit more about the basics of SqlDBM. A user is asking, these generated tables that you brought via reverse engineering are yet to be created in the physical database. Can you please confirm?
Yes. So whatever you do in SqlDBM, let's say you are designing, either you are adding tables by hand or creating these, let's say if I create a child table to this table, these all tables that are created, they are not real-time synced with your database. This is a designing area where you design, think, collaborate with your team. Once that piece is done, then you either push it to your Snowflake or whichever data warehouse that you are using. You create the SQL, or you can push it directly or connect to your GitHub, and using GitHub Actions, you can physicalize them or materialize them into your data warehouse. This is the designing area where this was intentional. We do not want to sync immediately because you might be in the testing phases or thinking phases. So you don't want inadvertently creating this table underscore 37, which is not maybe the right name, pushing it to your data warehouse.
Um, Fantastic answer. Thank you, as always. I'm just scanning through because there was like 10 more questions. I have a feeling we might not go through all. Can you please touch a little more on customizing the LLM model to specific industry or company use?
Uh, Not at this point, but like I mentioned, we have this fine tuning. We don't need to dig deeper on those LLM models. The LLM models that we utilize, which are Claude, Sonnet, they're really up to mark with the industry standards and have the full knowledge and they stay up to date. So we don't need to go that far. All we need to do is basically provide your own customization as a pre-context for every AI call. That is more than good enough for AI to narrow down on your customizations.
And what you showed me an example before of like a financial, if this is like
Yeah,
financial.
it's right here. It's this is a financial institution model which is using either data vault modeling over analytical table, or we are using governance, or these are our standards. Whatever you want to put there, you can put that, and that it always knows this thing, and it will narrow it down before it responds the answer to make sure that context is known.
Perfect. There are a couple of questions on cost consumption, but we kind of answered that, how we're handling it. Um,
Mhm.
this one is kind of half question, but is there any use for Copilot within naming conventions and domains?
It is aware about your naming conventions. So that's a really good question. So the if you have any naming standards, then it will know the context, and whatever new tables or objects it will produce, it will make sure they are conformed with your naming standards as well. So, like I mentioned, it is aware of your whole project context, and it's going to utilize that before it responds with any answer.
Okay, that's a good answer. Assuming our tables are already present in the database, can we directly push the changes which are made in the model directly into Snowflake instead of GitHub? Again, another standard question.
Not at this time. We intentionally stayed away from that because there are different levels of users that level of users in the team that are utilizing for data model. Maybe you are in dev environment and you are creating these tables, and or maybe you are opening in production and connecting directly with production and reverse engineering. So we don't want to push directly from here because the risk is pretty high that you can make changes over there, which you don't want to do that. Even though Snowflake is pretty good to 360 view where it can revert back, but we want to stay away from that. But it's only a matter of a few seconds that you take the changes and push them there. If not GitHub, you can take the SQL out and run it directly.
Yeah, I always say that this is by design.
Yeah,
There's a barrier.
yeah.
Um, all right. This one, Ajay, I don't know if you have context. GCP BigQuery has a concept of wide tables. Would AI developed based on the chosen type of data warehouse?
It should. It must, because the LLMs are aware of the changes or the additions or the complications about GCP. If there are wider data types or columns, it should. Please tell us if it doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a good one. I would say that would be a good one to submit maybe via email
yeah.
to our product team. Um, there was one more about structuring. Was an interesting question. Can it assist in generating subject areas or group tables logically?
Yes, you can. That's where I mentioned that it is very good at categorizations or sectioning, group them together. For example, if I want to say, hey, create a new diagram and put all the account related objects over there. So it will figure it out and create a new diagram and put all the account related tables there. Similarly, I can say, based on the sentiment, I can say, hey, can you find out, like I mentioned earlier, the PII information. Can you find all the PII objects or elements and mark them with certain flag? So it will do that grouping of those together. It can. And if I'm on a diagram, I can say, hey, make a star auto layout. Because our Copilot can work on any natural language and it knows how to function all of those things that are available in SQL DBM. It can utilize those.
Yeah, I again the powers and the hence I saw someone just messaged if AI is the brain, we gave it the SqlDBM hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Was
I want to say one thing actually. The everything that I showed you, or it's not complex, but it's very time consuming, very painstaking. That's what AI is best at. And modeling is full of those kind of tasks, and you can delegate easily those tasks to our Copilot now. And rather it will free up a lot of time on your hands, which you can use to take care of more challenging or fun to solve problems.
I agree. It's all about the compound productivity. That's the term that I find most useful in this context because we're not looking to automate data modeling. I don't, right. This is too big of a question for years to come. The realistic usage right now is in those small incremental tasks, and they're small by themselves, but when you take 5 or 10 of them, it compounds,
Oh
and
yeah.
then you just go so much faster.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I think the main value would be available. Just the values in those in the compound efficiency. Ajay, let's start wrapping this up. I know there's some more slides we wanted to kind of
Oh yeah.
cover. There were a few questions on the roadmap, and I know you can talk a little bit about that, about the vision. So let's summarize what we covered today.
Sure. So just to give you a recap on what we did or what is available in today's Copilot, we talked about reverse engineering using our Copilot. What it means is that you can bring your requirements and paste them directly into this Copilot, whether they are as an attachment or whether you want to copy paste your requirements here, whether they are JSON data that you want to transform into SQL DBA model type, you can do all of that stuff using reverse engineering. If you want to make enhancements to or changes to your existing model, you can also use this reverse engineering AI where you can provide new set of requirements and make changes to your existing model because it is context aware. Next thing, we talked about the database documentation. Painful, lengthy process. It can easily do for you because it knows the context, it knows surrounding objects and all that. Based on that, it can create the nice documentation for you guys. Object level AI, which is when you hover on any object, you can dig deeper on that object for precise modifications or questions, impact analysis, understandings. You can do all of that using the object level AI. Project level AI is a holistic view where you want to make bulk changes. You want to ask questions about the whole project. Let's say if I want to ask, give me PII objects to find improvements or discrepancies or anomalies, it can bubble up those and you can read and start applying those changes. Um, those are the most important things that I showed you. And that's
Before you close it out,
yeah.
give us some sense of the vision ahead. What are
Okay.
you most excited about? Maybe don't spill all the beans, but what are you comfortable saying right now around vision of where is the product going to be developing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it is already above MVP. It is ready to go in hands of our clients. And like I mentioned, we only showed you 4 or 5 use cases, but you must have, or you would have many more use cases like you asked about mappings and categorizations, which you can utilize. You can fine tune it. Now, further from here, what you can do, what we are looking ahead is one of the questions was asked, is it only this project aware or can it globally be aware? So we're gonna make it global aware so that if you make changes here, it should tell you, hey, this would be broken in that project. So make it across different projects globally. We're going to take it to the next level where some of the companies would say, hey, we have this restriction. We can't use somebody's LLM, but we have our own LLM that we want to utilize. So we're going to provide this configuration that our Copilot can connect with your LLM directly, and your LLM would respond on your project data. So that kind of customization would also be coming down the line. So and furthermore, we'll provide it on administration levels. For example, if you say, hey, create a new set of users and add them to this project. So basically, we will try to do most of the things that you would need to do by hand, drag and drop, or go different areas. You should be able to do from the natural language prompts.
So what I'm hearing is really sky is the limit. We're excited to explore more. I know majority of the things we'll introduce or tweak will come directly from our users, from our customers, which it always has been. And I love how this is in part of SqlDBM's DNA. I'd love to keep it that way. So please let us know your feedback. Please submit your interest by going to sqldbm.com/copilot. I dropped the link in the chat. Just fill out your information so we can register your interest, and yeah, let's keep exploring together. Audrey, thank you so much for a wonderful session. I saw a few comments of saying that this is a very practical nature of the session. We love those live demos, so thank you.
All right. Thank you for attending.